Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How's everyone doing today? Alhamdulillah, we just had our second Jummah of Ramadan, mashallah. I think we're going to end up with 5 Jummahs this Ramadan. So we had number 2, and it was I believe, our 8th day of fasting. And tonight, inshallah, we will go over the 9th hadith in the 30-day, 30 hadith challenge, inshallah. As you all know, on Friday, it's a sunnah to read Surah Al-Kahf, so hopefully you got that in. If not, inshallah, next Friday, you can start actually from Maghrib of Thursday night. So Thursday night at Maghrib, that's actually when Jummah starts, and it ends uh, on Maghrib the following night. So you have up to Maghrib on Friday to recite Surah Al-Kahf. Uh, Past Maghrib, technically, you're not on Friday anymore. So remember that, inshallah. As far as today, Alhamdulillah, we read the 8th juz of the Quran today. We finished Surah Al-An'am, and we started Surah Al-A'raf. And the hadith for today, I'm going to tie it to a verse in Surah Al-A'raf, inshallah. So the hadith for today, if our brother Omar can place it on the screen for us. It is a hadith recorded by Imam Muslim. Inna Allah Jameel yuhibbul Jamal. This is actually part of a hadith from a longer hadith. There are a couple narrations that mention this actually. One is where a man asked the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, what if someone likes to wear nice clothes and nice shoes? Is there something wrong with that? What did the Prophet ﷺ say? He said this right here. Inna Allah Jameel yuhibbul Jamal. Allah is beautiful and He loves beauty. So there is no arrogance in wearing nice clothes, but the Prophet ﷺ mentioned that arrogance is actually denying the truth, belittling people, and denying the truth. So there's a lot to talk about this, but I'll try to keep it brief, inshallah. As far as wearing nice clothes, looking nice, there is nothing wrong with that. But remember, there is always something called extravagance as well. So we should never exceed bounds. There is nothing absolutely wrong with wearing nice clothes, wearing nice shoes, especially if this is something Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed you with, but we should not exceed bounds. So what is extravagance? Well, first of all, you do not have to go to extreme lengths to look a certain way. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed us all, and He has put us in different positions and different financial positions. So you should never stress yourself out to such an extent that you want to look a certain way where you end up maximizing your credit card or getting into a loan just to buy a certain dress or shirt, whatever it may be. Probably more of a problem for the sisters, although I do see guys once in a while spend a lot on their clothing to the extent where they're struggling financially, but they'll go and buy like a $250 polo shirt. That's probably not the best time to buy that polo shirt. But if it's within your means and you're able to buy something nice, there is nothing wrong with that. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions in a verse that we read today in Surah Al-A'raf, قل من حرم زينة الله التي أخرج لعباده والطيبات من الرزق. Say, O Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who has prohibited the adornment of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He has taken out for His servants, أخرج لعباده والطيبات من الرزق, and pure things from sustenance. So there is absolutely nothing wrong. In another narration, it is mentioned that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala likes to see the bounties of his servant on his servant. Meaning he likes to see his servant adorn the bounties that he has given him or her. So there's absolutely nothing wrong. But there are a few things. We mentioned extravagance. One way to be extravagant is to go beyond your means. Another way to be extravagant um, is to simply be excessive. Um, we all would like nice things. There's nothing wrong with that. Some people don't. They just want to be simple as possible, and that's also beautiful in itself. But you should never go to extremes. So there is no need to fill 5 closets full of clothes that you will probably only wear once and never wear again. These things can be considered extravagance. Once again, according to your means. But even if you have all the money in the world, would you really want to fill up a house full of clothes that you may only wear once? Uh, Probably not the best way to use your money. Now, if you're buying those clothes, say you have the money and you're able to buy a wardrobe left and right. If you're wearing them and giving them away, that's another story. But usually, what people do is they just wear them and they just let them sit, and no one else benefits from them. It was actually one of the actions of the Salihin. Believe it or not, they would actually pass on their clothes to others. So, from one righteous person to another, this was something practiced. Of course, they were something that you could wear again, something in good condition, but it was an act that righteous people would do for others. I remember one of my teachers did the same, and he told me the day he gave it to me. He gave me a thobe, very very beautiful looking thobe, and he said it was the act of the salihin that they would give their clothes to each other. So I want to give this to you, um, and it's a beautiful thing to do. But of course, keep in mind it should be something nice, something you would actually want to wear yourself, that you already wore, but you would still like wearing, and something that's not worn out or torn or dirty in bad condition and so forth. So that's something very nice to do. I know another family, what they do, they have so many kids in the family, meaning they have sisters and brothers that have kids, and the amount of kids in the family is just so many, mashallah. So what they do is, as some of the older kids get bigger, they give their kids to the younger ones, their nephews, their nieces, their cousins, and so forth. So the same clothes end up being worn for years. The ones that are in good condition, of course, that can be worn. These are usually the clothes that people only wear a few times and maybe even once, and they don't wear again. So these types of things, very nice to do. Usually like a suit, nice dress, or something that you won't wear often. These are nice to pass on. Um, so anyway, going back to the extravagance. So not to be extravagant. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also says in the same surah, right before the verse I just mentioned, actually, subhanahu wa ta'ala, he mentions, Ya bani Adam, khudhu zinatakum inda kulli masjid. He says, oh son of Adam, this is everybody, by the way, men and women, everyone, when he's referring to the children of Adam, but he's saying, khudhu zinatakum inda kulli masjid, that wear nice things when you come into the masjid. Put on your beautiful adornments when you come into the masjid. This doesn't mean, of course, for the sisters that we come in and we put on a bunch of makeup and, like we're as if we're going to a wedding. No, that's not the meaning either. But you should wear things that are nice in the sense. Don't come to the masjid in, your pajamas. Don't come to the masjid in clothes you wouldn't want to be caught seen outside, but you'll wear it to the masjid. Wear something nice to the masjid. If you have a nice thobe, wear that. You have nice, if you like to wear shirt and pants, wear some nice shirt and pants. I see sometimes people come in the masjid, they're wearing like, their undershirts, um, they're in short shorts, and there's sometimes they're sitting like that in Jummah, and I'm like, wow, you couldn't find anything else from your wardrobe to wear, especially on the day of Jummah. On the day of Jummah, by the way, It's even more encouraged. You should wear your best clothes out of any other clothes that you have for Jum'ah. And of course, for Eid too, you know, well, needless to say, people do that already. But for Jum'ah, actually, you should wear your best clothes. And one of the clothes that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves the most, it's actually mentioned in the hadith, is white. So wearing white clothing, like especially for the brothers, if they can wear white thobe to Jum'ah, nice white thobe. This is from the Sunnah. And it's something that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves to see. So wear nice clothes to the masjid. خُذُوا زِينَتَكُمْ عِنْدَ كُلِّ مَسْجِدٍ وَكُلُوا وَاشْرَبُوا وَلَا تُسْرِفُوا. And eat and drink, but don't be extravagant. Once again, the same point. Eat and drink, but don't be extravagant. And that is something especially to remember for our iftar. Not suhoor as much. People actually have a hard time eating in suhoor. So whatever you're able to eat, alhamdulillah. If you end up eating a lot for suhoor, you are amongst the few. But whatever you can eat in suhoor is blessed. It's in a hadith, إِنَّ اللَّهَ وَمَلَائِكَتَهُ يُصَلُّونَ عَلَى الْمُتَسَحِّرِينَ. That Allah and His angels send salutations upon those who have suhoor. وَكَمَا قَالَ عَلَيْهِ الصَّلَاةُ وَالسَّلَامُ. What a beautiful hadith. Because it's so hard to eat during that hour. First of all, you're just struggling to get up. You get a headache sometimes. It's difficult to make wudu. It's 4 o'clock in the morning. You're waking up at 4:30, whatever the case may be. It's difficult. And then you're gonna go eat something. It's a lot of times people are like, "Oh, just give me water. I don't want anything." Sometimes you even wake up for suhoor, but you don't want to eat something. Force yourself at that hour to eat, even if it's something very minimal, even if it's just a glass of water and a date. Do something, because that is a blessed meal. Anyway, going to iftar, it's very easy for people to eat. So what do they do? They exceed their bounds. When it's a blessed time to eat, people hold back. They don't want the blessings. And when it's time to control, people become extravagant at iftar. Take it easy during iftar. I know it's very hard for a lot of us, most of us, every single one of us. The urge is there to keep eating and eating and eating, but it's not healthy for you. It's really not. What happens is your stomach constricts during the day. And if you wait after 14, 15 hours to have a meal and then you just pound it, you end up bloating yourself to the extent where it becomes very painful. And then it kind of defeats the purpose of, or one of the benefits of this month too, is that to, clean out your system. That's obviously not a reason why we fast, but it is one of the benefits. This intermittent fasting that recently has become a trend. SubhanAllah, where does it come from? Fasting itself, right? Of course, we do more than intermittent. We're going from the morning all the way to sunset, but it's something very good for your system, your health system, your body. And most of us end up losing weight in Ramadan, I guess, which is a good thing for most of us. And some may even gain weight, which is kind of head scratching. Kind of have to wonder what they're doing at iftar. But you probably should lose a few pounds in Ramadan. If you don't, then probably something wrong with your diet. But anyway, going back to the verse, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Kulu washrabu wa la tusrifu. Eat and drink and do not be extravagant, because Inna Allah la yuhibbul musrifin. Allah does not like those who are extravagant. Especially, guys, I want to mention, everyone, men and women, when you go to gatherings, of course, in this Ramadan, subhanAllah, we can't really go to too many at all, just whatever's in our house. But, this will pass, and we'll have weddings to go to and big events to go to, and there'll be buffets. Take it easy during the buffets. SubhanAllah, people fill up their plates as if they will never get food again. They won't be able to eat what's on that plate, but they just want to fill it knowing that they took the most they were able to take, right? They'll fill up a plate as big as Big Bear Mountain. Maybe they'll eat half of it or a quarter, maybe even most of it, but they'll waste some portion of it and they'll throw it away. But they got the satisfaction of knowing that I got my chicken, I got my beef, I got my tikka biryani, and I know the rest of them were not able to get it. but I know I got it, so I'm happy. What a shame. Just take what you're gonna eat, come back and eat it, and then if there happens to be more, go back and get some more. Uh, you're not gonna go hungry for the rest of your life. Subhanallah, Allah will always find a way to feed you through one means or another. You will get your food, believe me. So no need to go crazy during buffets. So remember that outside of Ramadan. Question from yesterday: is CBD halal? I believe you're referring to marijuana. Um, so that would not be. Um, you don't want to take marijuana. Unfortunately, if there's a medical reason, there better be a strong one to take it. But people are coming up with any reason to take it at this point. But no, the scholars have prohibited the use of marijuana. Um, if you, like I said, if you have a medical reason, a legit medical reason, that may be another story. But I mean, if it's just feel like it relaxes you or whatever, there's other ways to relax that are halal, inshallah. There was another question yesterday about kombucha too, so I looked it up again. So apparently kombucha, because the only one I was introduced to was actually the non-alcoholic kombucha. But even apparently the other ones, the alcohol content is so small. I was finding it is like 0.6%, 0.5, very minute. So the scholars actually mentioned, the ones that I was reading, that they actually allow it. It is permissible because the amount is so small. There is no trace of alcohol pretty much in it. It would not be able to revert back to its state of alcohol. My son always argues with me that CBD is halal. I'll be honest with you. A lot of our youth today, they love CBD. Forget about CBD, just straight marijuana. Um, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if half your kids were smoking it and not telling you. But, um, it's a phase. Hopefully they get out of it. The reality is, if you want to make an excuse for something, you'll probably find it some way or somehow. But it's it's really nothing to be using as a Muslim. There is no medical need for it. Why are we putting these things into our body? Um, they're not going to provide benefit. People swear by it sometimes and say they relax me, they ease my headaches. Well, then try other things that relax you and ease headaches. Things that are permissible. Why does it have to be CBD? Just because everyone is doing it around us in society. Um, that is pretty obvious. You can't deny that. Most people around us do it, and you know uh, that makes it, of course, harder for us to stay away. I mean, when every friend around you is doing it in school, obviously, if you go to a public school here, most people are not sharing the same faith as you, and it may be permissible for them to do it, but that doesn't mean it's okay for you to do it. These are trials in life, especially for my young brothers and sisters. Everyone has different trials. Alhamdulillah, when I grew up, I mean, I grew up around it. People were smoking, but for some reason, I was never attracted to it. I just thought it was stupid. So I didn't stay away from it. I had other trials, don't get me wrong, but everyone has their trials. And some people may have a very strong trial, or a trial where they're very strongly attracted to CBD. Other people, it may be the opposite gender. Other people, it could be video games, could be gambling for some people. Um, Everyone has trials in life, and perhaps this is your trial. Try to stay away from it as much as you can. Really, it's a fad. It's a trend that's taking place in society. Obviously, with the legalization, it's going to become more and more rampant. But it's destroying. It's destroying households. Believe it or not, it's destroying people to the extent where it will destroy communities. I'll tell you right now, in my own neighborhood, right now, I could walk outside, and there's probably two houses here on my street that were completely confiscated. They were boarded up, and they have been sitting vacant now for months, and some of them even years. It's terrible, and it ruined the whole community. Why? Well, you know what it is? people were basically growing marijuana in the house. They didn't own the house; they were renters. And what they did was, and this is what a sheriff told me. He's like, what they do is they'll rent a house from the landlord. And let's say you're renting the house for 3,000. So your annual rent is 36,000, right? So they'll tell the landlord, you know what? I'm going to give you 50,000 rent for the whole year. Here you go. Just don't come check up on me. And they'll rent these houses out. They'll pay rent, very high rent, maybe even more than what the landlord is asking. And what they'll do is they'll turn this house into a marijuana factory. There was a house that I was mentioning here in my area. The neighbor told me there was about 1,500 plants inside the house. I mean, and if you walk in, they have basically stripped the whole house down. Walls, flooring. They have all kinds of UV lights and you name it. They mess with the electrical grid because one of the easiest ways to know if someone's growing marijuana is you check the electric bill. So they'll mess with the electric grid so that the usage doesn't show up. Are we talking about CBD or marijuana? Because those are two different things. CBD does not have any psychoactive ingredient. I don't know if it still matters though. Well, I have to look into that. As far as I know, CBD is derived from marijuana. There is an aspect of it in there, but I can look into that. As far as I know, it is a byproduct of marijuana, and I can go into that more detail tomorrow, inshallah. But I'll do an extra session tomorrow just on CBD. But to be honest with you, this is something I haven't really paid too much attention to, just because it never interested me. I just knew to stay away from it, and I did. But I'll look into that. To be honest with you, though, I doubt it, but I'll confirm with you guys tomorrow. But marijuana for sure, I can tell you right now. Many scholars have mentioned it, and I have read recent articles too, where they've done thorough research, kind of breaking it down, and it's absolutely permissible. But anyway, going back to those houses, they've destroyed. So basically, they made this house into a complete marijuana factory, and then what happens is eventually the authorities catch on to it, and they board up the house, and then no one lives in it, and then the house just looks terrible, weeds growing everywhere. You imagine driving by and all you see is wooden pieces covering the door and the windows, and you just destroy the whole community. And you know what? Now it's a misdemeanor. It's not even a felony, so you don't even get in major trouble for doing something like this. It destroys communities, my friends. I don't know what else to tell you. CBD, I'll look into it. I have a friend, by the way, who sells CBD, not Muslim. He's always online on LinkedIn. All he does is sell CBD, and he just promotes it left and right. And he thinks this changed his life, and now he's trying to make a buck on it. But I can tell you, I mean, every CBD product he has is a byproduct of marijuana. But I'll look into other CBD products. Maybe there's new ones that have come in that don't really have much in it. I don't know. I've always been curious because I see it in lotions a lot. Oh, okay. Wow. Hey, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, it's in all kinds of things now. And I can maybe catch up on CBD, I guess. Maybe they have CBD shampoo too. All right, I'll look into it, inshallah. There is a difference sometimes if it's being placed, you know, topically versus ingested and so forth. But I will definitely look into it, inshallah. Yes, LOL, definitely. Marijuana, subhanallah. How do we end up on marijuana from Allah is beautiful and He loves beauty? I don't even know how we got there. But anyway, subhanAllah. I don't know how we got sidetracked to marijuana. I think I was talking about extravagance. In Allah la yuhibbul musrifin. Allah does not like extravagance. So there's nothing wrong with looking nice, but don't be prideful in it. That's the next point I wanted to mention. So during the time of the Prophet ﷺ, it was a source of pride for people to have clothes that were so long that they would drag on the floor. I mean, you may think now, what's the big deal about dragging on the floor? I mean, that's kind of dumb. Your clothes will get dirty. But think of like a woman when she gets married, especially in our culture, American culture, the wedding dresses they drag on the floor. Now the women there, they don't do it for pride, they're getting married. But I'm just trying to get you to think of how a dress could drag on the floor. So men would also wear these types of dresses that would drag on the floor, but they would do it, or some of them would do it out of pride, to show that they are rich and better than others. And this should never happen. You should never allow the clothes you're wearing to think that you are better than someone. Wear something nice, sport it, look good, gel your hair. That's fine. But don't think you are better than others. Be thankful for the way Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created you, and look nice so that you feel satisfied. Inshallah, Allah will also be happy. And the eyes of others may also be at peace too, because if you came out in your pajamas, they wouldn't be happy, right? There's also another thing to this, though. Beauty is a very deep subject, and I have to mention this. It's not all about beauty. The Prophet ﷺ also mentions in a hadith, so you have to know all these things so that you keep your heart pure. And this is important too. Inna Allah la yanzuru ila suwarikum wala ajsamikum walakin yanzuru ila qulubikum. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not look at your shapes and your figures and your bodies, but rather He looks at your heart. He looks at your deeds. So, meaning, if someone is beautiful, I mean, just by nature, they just have this natural beauty, whether it's a woman or man, whoever it may be. That doesn't mean Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala necessarily loves the person, and doesn't necessarily mean that that's what He's looking at. Inna Allah jameel yuhibbu, Allah loves beauty. No. Allah loves beauty, meaning He loves to see the beauty on His servants. He loves to see the blessings that He has given to His servants on His servants, especially when they use it without pride. But at the same time, this is not what He cares for. This is not the essence of our existence, but rather it is having pure hearts and pure deeds. So you could look good all you want, but if you have a nasty character, then that beauty is not doing anything for you. In fact, it will be a source of ruin for you. How many people have you seen in your life beautiful, right? Like knockout beauty. And you're like, wow, 10 out of 10, as they say, or the ace of aces. But when they talk, you're like, oh, just please stop. I don't want to hear you anymore. Or when they have a conversation with someone or they deal with someone, they are very rude, and they're mean, and they're arrogant. They think they're better just because they're good looking. This type of beauty does no benefit. This is what I call a flower that's actually a cactus. This is the hero that's really a zero. So without the deeds, your beauty is nothing. We've gone, of course, over time again. This is like 3 days in a row. We're going way over time. Shall forgive me for that, but we end up going on tangents. So beauty has to be accompanied with righteous deeds and a pure heart. If not, then that beauty is of no use. Even if you are doing it for the intention of pleasing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if you don't clean your heart and have righteous deeds, that beauty is of no avail to you and others. So memorize this hadith, inshallah. Inna Allah jameel yuhibbul jamal, or you could say Inna Allah jamilun yuhibbul jamal. Allah is beautiful, He loves beauty, recorded by Imam Muslim. Let's do a quick rundown before we end. Hadith number 1, ad-deenu nasiha, the religion is sincerity, recorded by Imam Muslim. Hadith number 2, ad-du'a'u mukhul ibadah, supplication is the essence of worship, rawahu Tirmidhi, recorded by Imam Tirmidhi. Hadith number 3, al-mar'u ma'man ahabba, a person will be with whom he or she loves, recorded by Imam Bukhari and Muslim, or muttafaqun alayh. Hadith number 4, hubbuka shay'a yu'mi wa yusim, your love for something might render you blind or deaf, rawahu Abu Dawud. Maybe CBD. You love it so much, you don't want to hear it. It's haram. I'm just kidding. We'll find out tomorrow. I'll let you guys know tomorrow. Next hadith, inshallah. Hadith number 5. Al-anatu min Allah wal-ajalatu min ash-shaytan. Calmness is from Allah and haste is from shaitan. Rawahu at-Tirmidhi. Or the sources, Imam at-Tirmidhi. Number 6. Al-haya'u la ya'ti illa bi khair. Modesty does not bring anything but goodness. Rawahu al-Bukhari. And then hadith number 7. At-tuhuru shatrul iman. Purity is half of faith. Rawahu al-Muslim. Or recorded by Imam Muslim. And then hadith number 8. Al-khamru jumma'ul ithm. Alcohol constitutes many sins. Rawahu Razin. And then today's hadith. Inna Allah jameel yuhibbul jamal. Allah is beautiful and He loves beauty. Rawahu Muslim. So tomorrow we're going to get to hadith number 10. If anybody is interested in practicing the 10 with me, they just want to do a quick round where they read all 10, let me know in the chat and I will make an appointment with you and you can recite it to me over the phone by memory just to get practice. And you can do that later, maybe at 15 or 20. And then of course at the end, at 30, when everyone who's registered will make an arrangement for you guys to say all these and inshallah complete the challenge. Remember, there is a monetary prize at the end, inshallah, for those who win. So we'll end with that today, and we'll, of course, end with a little dua. And I'll send you the dua as well, inshallah, afterwards. Let me see. For today, inshallah, which dua should I make? So many duas, mashallah. Subhanallah wa bihamdihi, subhanallah al-azim. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم إنا نسألك موجبات رحمتك وعزائم مغفرتك والغنيمة من كل بر والسلامة من كل إثم والفوز بالجنة والنجاة من النار. آمين يا رب العالمين. لا إله إلا أنت سبحانك إنا كنا من الظالمين. وصلى الله على نبينا حبيبنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه والتابعون. It's a beautiful dua from the Sunnah. Oh Allah, we ask you for your mujibati rahmatik, this your mercy that is mujibat comes from wajib, right? Something that is obligatory, but it's so hard to even translate. It's so strong to even translate this into English. But basically, your mercy that is, let's say, almost mandatory for us to receive. That's a very bad way to put it, but I'll find a better translation, inshallah. Mujibati rahmatik, mercy that we are bound to receive from you. وعزائم مغفرتك, and the greatness of your forgiveness, the essence of your forgiveness. These are such powerful ways to make dua, by the way. You can't do it in English. It's very hard. وَالْغَنِيمَةَ مِنْ كُلِّ بِرٍّ, and the collection of everything good. وَالسَّلَامَةَ مِنْ كُلِّ إِثْمٍ, and protection from evil deeds or bad things, bad sins, you can say. وَالْفَوْزَ بِالْجَنَّةِ, and success with paradise. There's different ways to succeed in life, and of course in the hereafter, but we want success ultimately with paradise. وَالْفَوْزَ بِالْجَنَّةِ وَالنَّجَاةَ مِنَ النَّارِ, and we want to be saved or emancipation from the fire of Jahannam. And so beautiful, beautiful dua. Inshallah, I'll send you the dua in Arabic with the meanings, inshallah, and we'll do it again tomorrow. Yes, we'll send it on the WhatsApp group, inshallah. You'll hear this dua, by the way, in Ramadan. Every imam will make it. Sometimes they'll switch the wording, switch meaning the second part of it, they'll start with the first and so forth. But I'll send you what is authentic from hadith, and you can recite it in that way, inshallah. So with that, we'll end tonight. Jazakumullah khairan. Well, we'll see you all tomorrow for the Quran recitation and also for hadith number 10 at 9 p.m. Jazakumullah khairan. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.